Hello and welcome back to another game. In the yellow we have the Viper playing as the Vietnamese on the east side of the map. Towards the west we have the Fat Dragon, better known as Vivi, playing in the blue as the Vikings. We're going to speed things up a little bit here at the start because we're on Arabia and we kind of know how this goes. But let's check out the resource positioning really quick. So for Vivi, hold on, we're going back to regular speed. That scouts out very, very far, Viper. Sorry guys, I just saw this on the mini-map and it looks like Viper might be going for a steal or something here. Just looking at the way his scouts moved across the map so quickly, that was a little bit of a change from our regular intro, and I kind of like it. So we've got Viper moving around. He's basically right next to Vivi's town centre here, knows exactly what's going on. He's seen the sheep, or basically, I guess he knows what's going on over there. At the same time, though, found the major gold. It looks like he's hunting for a boar now as well. How are we looking? Boar's towards the front here. The other boar is way towards the front. Viper hasn't seen that one. He is getting, in fact, he has seen this one. Let's see if he manages to take it back. Will he go for it? Or is he just waiting to lame the villager? That's the other question here. Nope, wants to take it. Uses the top side of the hill here as well. Takes a whole bunch of damage. Steals the sheep as well. Alright, so Viper's going full lame this game. Cool. We'll see if he gets it back to the town centre. And Vivi, no. You're on an intercept course and you've missed it now. It's long gone for you. Ah, it's long gone. It's in the darkness. There's no way you can see it. Obviously, if we're still around here, you'd be able to see what was going on. But Viper, that steal was so quick that we didn't see Vivi explore where he needed to. And I guess that's 3 boar for Viper. Should he get this one back to the town center properly? We'll jump over, keep having a look at Vivi. I guess we'll have a look at Vivi's map in a second here. But this should get back at this stage. Viper, he should be able to micro this one absolutely fine. And brings in his own at this stage as well. Still no loom on his villagers because Viper knows what he's doing. So we'll check back in a sec and see how that boar's gone. So for Vivi, he's got the main gold here towards the west of his town centre, gold up towards the northwest as well. So he's got a little bit of a defensive layout here with his base as well, and actually can get a pretty good wall off going very, very quickly. Across here, he can wall across this little hill here towards the town centre, and then everything in the back here is nice and safe. He's got a secondary gold in the back, he's got a secondary lumber in the back, he's got a stone in the back, he's got forage bush here at the front, and that should be the boar coming in now. And yeah, the boar hasn't even hit the cavalry since basically it started. That's just an absolute shame. But hey, good micro by Viper, good play, and like we always say, in competitive play, you may as well go for it. Definitely not the best technique in the world, but it helps. Vivi's starting to wall off the rest of his base here as well. He does have this giant hill towards the south of his base as well. This is actually a really good staging point for Viper if he does need to retreat for any kind of push, but the wall should deny any access to this one here. So Vivi really actually has a really good location of his base. If you can just get the wall offs kind of finished around this area, and even then, that actually covers it there, so it's just across here. And Vivi's just realizing he has no other boar, and a little bit of kind of a little bit of the trash talk starts to happen in the chat as well here. We'll see what else kind of happens. So really we're going to have to see with how Vivi does decide to basically come up with this one and actually move towards the feudal age effectively. Obviously getting the farms down a little bit earlier. So he's down, remember, 2 sheep, 1 pig. So he's in a lot of trouble there when it comes to it. And only 3 villagers on berries here as well, so he's going to have to get those farms up super quickly, and we should see a quicker advance up into the next stage from Viper. That said, already a villager behind at the moment, so you get loom. Yeah, he's already got loom, so that's going to, yep, that makes up for that one there, so we're in a good place. And Viper me MBL. Well, there you go. Viper finally picking up the rest of his sheep behind the back of his base here. Does he know where kind of everything is? Yeah, he's done a pretty good job sheep scouting it out as well, so he knows he's got his extra gold towards the top here, but more importantly, let's actually track down his resources and see what's going on here. So Viper, main gold is forward, nothing you really ever want to see, especially on a map this open. At least he has the trees towards the top and the bottom here that he can kind of wall across to, but that gold's going to be exposed pretty much no matter what. His secondary gold forward, his other gold forward, so in the back here, all he's really got to work with is stone, and even then, look how open this still is. He's going to have such trouble walling this one in. And my guess is he's just going to play on the aggressive on this one. We know Viper, he hates playing with walls for one unless it's tournament games, and even then he still doesn't love it. So it seems like he's going to go forward, get nice and aggressive with it, and really try and do some damage. So the scout goes back across because he wants to see exactly what Vivi's doing here. Viper getting relatively close to clicking up, and this actually works out alright for Vivi. He does have some shorefish here in the ponds he can take. Definitely not something we're used to seeing on Arabia, but at the same time, look, if it's there, you may as well go for it, especially considering how fast they actually collect fish from it as well. So hopefully that helps, but Viper already on the way up to feudal age. He's going up on 22 vil pops, so Pretty kind of regular old school there in terms of what he's going for. Does have the lumber in the back here, has the lumber towards the side, so did decide to go for a split. Does have the hill towards the back here as well, so that could be a little bit annoying if Vivi does decide to push down it, but at the same time, one wall off and he's good to go. It's just archers sitting behind it you have to be worried about. Vivi's still not on his way up to Castle Age, still needs a little bit more food from this one, as pretty much to be expected. He's starting to shuffle some deer towards the town centre. He's getting as much food as he can from every single different source now. He's got the deer, he's got the berries, he's got farms, he's got shorefish. I actually don't know what he's really missing at this stage. He's going for every type of income possible. Does decide to go for a split lumber in the back though, because he knows how Viper works. If you can basically start isolating your resources, you're in trouble. Viper just about on his way up to feudal age, but we've got Vivi. He's up 4 villages, but at the same time he's like over a minute behind in terms of his uptime. But considering, could be a lot worse. We've got Viper on a forward. I think we've got Viper moving forward here, so going to drop some rangers forward, pretty much signaling by the fact he's got villagers on gold here. Potentially should take up a position at the front here, be able to kind of hammer in away at Vivi, and we'll see exactly how Vivi decides to deal with it. Vivi throwing up his own gold camp. Of course, going to know exactly how to deal with this one when it does come in, and if he's lucky, he should spot the villagers now, so he'll know exactly what he's in for. Maybe... nope, there we go, he knows. He knows his village is coming forward, so he's got the pre-out right now. Finishes some more wall off towards the front here, drops some gates down as well, so he knows he can stop this push. And Viper might even take the hills over here with his buildings, just so he has a really good staging point again. Utilizes that town center as best as possible. With the inclusion, one villager there, going to be enough to pretty much hold this one down. Throws a watchtower up on the wall as well, so he's going to be able to stop anything walling behind this, so he can get in and do some serious damage behind this. Tries to again get a couple more just hits on the villagers, trying to slow him down a little bit. The archery ranges going up at the front. I was just waiting for that to be a blacksmith and me to be wrong. But double archery range up on the front as well. The Vietnamese, of course, going to have that little bit of extra HP on their archers. Could really help out in this situation. Defensive tower, of course, coming up for Vivi here in the back as well. That does mean he should be able to hopefully hold this line without anything really being able to push through here. Hopefully without taking a whole bunch of damage anyway. Vivi, a really good response, decides to go to stone. He knows he's going to need more defensive towers behind this. And Viper, if we have a look here, yep, archers on the way, of course, it was to be expected. Starting to take down the house as well, and Viper actually comes in through here, starts scouting out what his opponent's doing. This is really bad for Vivi right now, in fact, really bad. The forward's up, he's got stone on the front he can take, so he can continue to build towers behind this and, I guess, just box him in, deny some of these farms around the town center as well, which is exactly what this tower's already doing. Notice the scouts in there, and it looks like the trade is going to be in favor of Vivi. Still using those shorefish for a little bit more of a boost there. Like I was saying, villagers still on the stone in the back. Let's have a look back here, see what Viper's up to, and see what kind of counter we're going to be seeing from Vivi. Vivi goes for a stable behind this, so he wants to get some scouts out and start doing some damage, get back to Viper's base and do some harassment, just because, as we know, all he's got back here is a single barracks, no walls whatsoever. Feeling a very game about it, quite realistically, and the archers moving around the side here, just looking for anywhere they can poke, prod, and start to do some damage. Stable finally comes up in the back, and where's he going to go from here? This has become very, very tight, like literally a squeeze in on Vivi right now. And another tower, so we might just see those towers come up across the front here from Viper, and really just like hammer away at these farms, just make sure Vivi can't leave his base. And Vivi starts throwing up his own defensive walls as well. Definitely a good call here. He needs to stop these archers moving into the back of his base here, because he doesn't have a whole lot to defend with it. And blacksmith gets thrown up as well. Is Vivi fast castling behind this? He absolutely is. Look at this. We've got the food count there. We've got the gold count. He's keeping his villagers up as well. And there comes the next tower. So he's again just holding this one in place. Tower gets thrown up defensively for Vivi as well. And how's he going to outplay this? Obviously, Castle Age could just go for knights or something if he wants to, try and wipe out a lot of those skirmishes, particularly if he can get back and do some raiding as well. The knights back here just could not be stopped. But then again, he could just go, look at all the resources I have back here. As long as Viper can't push into me, I can actually boom up behind this, potentially pull some mangonels out, start trying to dispatch this forward base we've kind of got from Viper here, and Blacksmith gets thrown down forward for Viper as well. We're on an even villager count currently. However, of course, Viper having a massive military, 10-1 there. Vivi very far behind, but on his way up to Castle Age, and just starting to get his eco upgrades now as well. So Vivi really pushing for that Castle Age upgrade, and potentially could actually be looking at throwing a castle down here on the front as well. Use that to clean up the towers, and even could go berserk behind this if he wanted to. Obviously not going to be too strong versus the archers, but it gives him an option to get just a strong Castle Age unit out on the field, and could potentially go raiding with the berserks, as basically berserks are known to do. And Viper begins walling in Vivi. I guess. There's another villager here. We're gonna just click over to the point of view. Yes, Viper is beginning to wall in Vivi. Now, this is ridiculous. And again, we see a little bit of trash in the chat, which is nice to see. But yeah, Vivi at the moment, I guess his only place, he has to break these walls down. So a castle on the frontier could be really good for pushing outwards. That said, he's got his secondary gold in the back. He's got a gold here as well. He's got 2 forests. I think that the only thing that should really be stressing him out too much is how he's going to deal with the forests. I think that's the only thing he should be really worried about here. Of course, Viper's got complete map control at this stage. We've got 1 forward villager from Vivi though. Sneaky, sneaky. I didn't even see that leave the base. But he goes down with a siege workshop on the frontier. A couple of archers are like 1 or 2 knights and a ram. And this actually could be game over for Viper if he's caught in the wrong position here. Archers getting pulled back. So Viper potentially, yes. So Viper has seen this forward start to come up. Good for him. He pulls his archers and skirmishes back. So he will be able to begin to deal with it. As for Vivi, what have we got? Vivi is booming behind this. He really doesn't see any issue with what's happening here. I can't believe this. He's getting walled in and he's just like, nah, it's fine. It'll be fine. Throws the knights out as well. Tries to kill off a couple of units from here. Of course, he's going to be able to garrison in those towers quite effectively. But really what he wants... Oh, he might get the kill there, actually. Say goodbye to 1 villager. And then he's going to be able to move out and start raiding as well. And starts going for scorpions on the front. This is beautiful. This is what we like to see. A second barracks getting thrown up for Viper as well. Looks like he is prepping to be able to deal with those knights. Get a couple of spears out. And the repairer basically pushed back across the map as well. The knights, though, as we know, will clean up the spears relatively easily here, especially with the scorpions backing them as well. This is actually a really interesting composition here from Vivi. But of course, a big thing to remember, 7 range on a scorpion versus 6 on the town center, so it will outrange and be able to kill off essentially anything around the town center here. Can even look at the villagers, of course. A couple of these knights just looking to do whatever damage they can, but there's just too many towers here at the moment. Like, way too many towers. Viper getting scale mail as well, and the thing to mention as well, he is still in feudal age, so these knights are just such strong units. Of course, they're not going to put up basically an entire defense to a whole bunch of spears, archers, skirmishes, etc. But with the scorpions, hopefully should be able to keep this one going. Does keep the repairer alive as well, and here we go, does some damage. Look at the scorpions go. Scorpions is a unit we do not see enough. Of course, they are countered very, very quickly by pretty much anything as soon as it's on top of them, but at the same time, Vivi has been cleaned up outside Viper's base here, and I'm just so worried for Vivi. I don't think there's too much he can do about this. He's thrown up 2 town centers in the back, so he is starting to boom behind this, so he's caught up in villager count, even surpassing Viper now. Even despite the fact that Viper... Look, he didn't go up to Castle Age, so he's had that extra time to build villages, but the extra town centers, of course, are going to start outweighing very, very quickly. And again, Vivi just losing more and more siege equipment here on the front. A great quick wall by Viper, in fact, an amazing quick wall here by Viper. Manages to push those knights around the side, spearmen's there, and they're all very, very low HP, so the spearmen could deal with them very, very effectively. More walls coming up on the frontier for Viper. Viper is not letting Vivi out of this place here, and Castle Age for Viper along the way. How much stone's he got? Is he going to drop a front aggressive castle, or doesn't really have the stone for it at this stage? Siege workshop on the frontier, pretty much taken out by Viper. Vivi not really being able to do too much about it. Stone mining tech coming down as well, and Viper going in for the stable. Could potentially be looking at battle elephants or something along the same kind of, I guess the same kind of region there. But every time that Viper's waiting to go up to Castle Age here, we've got Vivi pulling further and further ahead in terms of villager count. We've got 55 to 44. Vivi finally takes the score lead, but of course Viper does have a lot of invested resources here in towards the Castle Age upgrade. So still very, very tight. And look at this, the Scorpions all taken out so quickly by these spearmen. Like, there's just nothing they could do about them once they're on top of them. Having the mass numbers like this is quite good because you can actually begin to take them out. And that's a really good travel through all of them. It actually starts to really take them out. But the one spear on top of the Scorpion, of course, is going to take it out. The Knights try and do some raiding in the back here. But again, the spears, the archers from Viper, that feudal age army, there's just too much of it really right now for Vivi to deal with. And he doesn't have all the ups he needs on his Knights really to be able to confront it properly. Vivi, though, still booming up back at home. He is nearly a good 20 villages in front of Viper, though, which is a bit to be worried about here. Viper's going to have to plonk down a lot of town centers and just really start re-popping up, or make a very, very aggressive move here, just so he doesn't have to worry about it. And Vivi, are you still building siege here at the front? I am just surprised he's investing the resources there, in all honesty. I know it's the only way for him to get things out of his base, but still, not exactly great. What are we going to see from Viper here? Is he going to plonk down some extra town centers, or is he saving for a castle? It looks like both players might even be saving for a castle at this stage, and go nice and aggressive with it. Looking at the counts though, where have we got Viper on 483, we've got Vivi on 550 already. I think we're going to have a slight win here in terms of Vivi. Should potentially plonk a castle down right at the frontier, push back these walls, push back the towers, and be in a relatively good spot. University, Siege Workshop, both getting... Villager getting killed off by the wolf there, I guess. Not what you want to see, but University, and we do have the Siege Workshop coming up from Viper as well. And look at that, the castle right on the front. Wants to deal with the castle, wants to deal with the palisades, wants to deal with the stone wall, wants to deal with the watchtower, and just get himself in a relatively good spot. We've got a monastery and a Siege Workshop coming up behind this as well, so we will be able to start converting if Viper decides to go for elephants, which at this stage, honestly, who knows? Because we've seen some ridiculous stuff this match. Some absolutely ridiculous stuff. Castle, there's no way to stop that at this stage. There's too many villagers working on it. Potentially might get 1 or 2 kills here. There's 1. But at the same time, 77 villagers to 46 of Viper. Viper is just in trouble now. He needs to find a way to hold this without taking too much damage. He puts up his own defensive castle. But at the same time, just the income of Vivi right now is just ludicrous in comparison. Absolutely ludicrous. Viper got back at home. No extra town centers. See, he's playing the super aggressive now, which is the only way he can really continue to kind of push this one. Because if Vivi just starts to out-pop and both like defensively, Viper's just going to continue to get snowball effect against him, and it's just going to be game over. So Vivi goes up to Imperial. My man, this is how it's done, and looks like the gate should be taken out here relatively quickly. We've got the castle working way at it. We had a ram there as well, but Viper, of course, knows the counter, brings out the Manged Elk. We'll be able to push that ram back across away from the walls. Still the 3 sound center, mark it in the back so he can trade up a little bit. He is starting to run out of gold, however, by the looks of this. How much have we got? Oh, he's still got a couple of there, and he's got quite a bit of yeah, he's got heaps of gold. He's actually not too worried about that. I was just worried seeing at the front. Battle elephants are out for Viper. I was just worried seeing him already move over here, but it looks like it's more of just a saturation problem he's running into. Viper actually going up into Imperial Age, quite close behind him, but again, just look at the villager count. We're nearly at double for Vivi. His income is just going to be too great for Viper to go up against it. At the same time, we've got a 1 villager castle coming up on the frontier. If Vivi had anything back here, he'd be able to do a lot of damage. Looks like we are going to see Arbalest for Vivi behind this. Never a bad option. And what's Viper going to do? What can his composition be? He's kind of losing his front forward here. He's trying to hold it as best as possible, but he's just not going to have the units he needs. Going for fortified walls, so wants to make sure these don't get taken down any easier than they need to be. Padded archer armor for Vivi, so those Arbalest, again, just going to be in such good shape to push out across here. All he needs is 1 trebuchet behind the castle, and of course, take that out, push from there, and it's just going to be issue after issue. We do have that fortified wall for Viper kicking in now as well. Bodkin arrow behind that, but Fat Dragon, we've got padded archer armor, we've got ballistics going down. He's just going to be able to absolutely smash through this, take it to Viper's base, and back at Viper's base, he's got no defense whatsoever. He doesn't even have defensive town centers for his villagers to garrison in. So as soon as he's kind of pushed through, I guess, this section over here, get out a trebuchet or 2, push in against this, move out across the map, and you'll be good to go. What are we seeing here from Viper? We've got the spears continuing to move around. We've got the battle elephant there as well, which, look, may have been a mistake. Chemistry, leather archer on the way as well. But looking like he's in a pretty strong position here. Just needs Arbalest behind this. Viper moves up to the Imperial Age, goes for chemistry of his own, so it looks like he could potentially be going for range units here. And I'm just not sure how he's going to be able to hold this one. Trebuchet on its way. We have a trebuchet yet from Vivi. Trebuchet is going to be out a little bit quicker, and it's going to have the high ground as well. So we'll be in a good situation here if he does want to go in and engage into the Treb War. We've got Vivi going into Bracer. Should see Arbalest any second here as well. But here we go. This is where the castle is going to be in a lot of trouble. We do have Viper bringing out his own trebuchet, so we will see the engagement of the Treb War here. But Vivi's just going to be, he's going to be up in terms of his trebuchets. He's going to have more in play. He's going to be in a better situation with the high ground. He's got the resources to continue to replenish, which is the big thing here. How we doing? Starting to get low, but again, we've still got this extra gold in the back here. How is he going to deal with this? Second trebuchet on its way up by the looks of things, so should be able to engage in the Treb War here. And is he aiming for the Treb, or is he just trying to get rid of the castle? He does not care about the trebs. He's just trying to get rid of the castle. We do have the repairs on the treb, however, so he doesn't want to lose it for no reason. But he is making Viper's life very, very difficult here. Another castle getting thrown up on the front. Arbalest is completed as well, and these guys are pretty much at full right now. It just needs that ring archer armor and he'll be in a really good situation. And castle is already taken down. Those trebuchets with the high ground, man, they make such a difference. And look at this, out come the Arbalest. There's one mangonel here to defend along with a whole bunch of spears. Shouldn't be too helpful. And oh, that's a good hit, but it's just not enough. Look at how easy these Arbalests will just cut through absolutely everything. Does lose a trebuchet in the trebuchet war here, pulls back towards the castle. Castle fire just begins to deal with everything. I don't think Vivi's worried too much here at all. I think Viper's starting to feel the strain a little bit and trying to hold this fort in. We do have another castle coming up defensively from Viper, so we'll try and hold on to this one a little bit longer. But we've got the 2 trebuchets still out from Vivi now. He just needs to find a way to be able to begin to deal with these. Bombard cannon out as well, so Viper going to be able to get some micromanagement here into the fight as well. We are just worried these Arbalests are just going to deal with the problem before it can be Viper could do anything. I'm just absolutely stunned here in terms of how this has turned around. Looks like the castle's going to get taken down though, so Viper still holding the front, gets the repairs on the bombard cannon here, but the thing is, Viper has no other military here. He's got 3 siege engines, whereas we do have, look at this, Vivi is starting to rally all these archery rangers towards the front. He will have the units he needs to be able to push this back. We do have 2 trebuchets still out in play here, and he's shooting out here. Man, those bombard cannons are so effective if you manage to get the hits with them. Lots of trebuchets from Viper as well. He knows he just needs to hold this surround and just continue to push in, really put the squeeze on Vivi, and then he can't push in back to it. We've got the Arbalest moving out. Looks like they're again just trying to find a spot to just push into against. We've got the mangonel there as well. Bombard cannons should be able to clean those up relatively effective here. And here comes the micro, tries to get an Arbalest, manages to snag one there. However, loses the bombard cannon in the trade. Not what you want to see here, not what you want to see at all. Castle most likely going to go down now for Vivi as well. We've got these 3 trebuchets on the front. And the Arbalest, however, are on their way out. They're on the move. I don't think Viper has anything on the map that can actually deal with these units once they're out of the surround. And look at this, villagers moving out across the map. The trebuchets moving out across the map. All Vivi needs to do is just hold this force on the front here. And look at this, we're going back to Viper's base. University getting thrown up, there's a single tower getting thrown up, but he has nothing here, nothing to begin to deal with this one. Notices the walls starting to come up, brings his Arbalest back, and should just kill off these villagers here. And that's exactly what happens. Vivi moving some of his own villagers forward here as well. Needs to break the surround, and that's exactly what he's doing. One mangonel moves forward for Viper though, not really accomplishing too much, but again, just tries to take out these villagers before Viper can continue to build that surround back up and around. This one mangonel though, 1 HP, it might be enough to push these Arbalests back a little bit though. But here we go. Archery is getting thrown up on the front for Vivi. He's out of the surround now. He just needs to get some military buildings up here on the front. And if he can get them up, he should be able to push in against Viper very, very effectively. There's nothing he'll really be able to do with it. We've got more villagers moving out across the map now as well. And here we go. Arbalest doing their best to try and take everything out. Bombard cannons from Viper though, of course, some good micro going to take out these Arbalests so quickly. 1 knight for Viper, but it's just not enough. The Arbalests are at full ups, like there's nothing you can really do to deal with this one. Ballistics for Viper coming in as well, so trying to find a way to deal with all these units. Tries to sneak his trebs back home, but the surround's been broken and we're 104 villagers compared to 42. 21 military compared to 8. Viper under 50 population, Vivi on 125. How do you even begin to start wrapping this one up in this situation? All that Viper really could have hoped for is that this wall held and he was able to just, again, bleed Vivi dry of all resources, but this force at the front of Viper's base now, I think it's going to be too much for him to be able to deal with. The Siege Workshop coming back up as well, pretty much on the front where it was. The Arbalest is going to be able to push in, deny the gold, they're going to be able to deny the wood here, then it's going to be able to, there's nothing here for them to be dealt with, there's nothing. Honor for Fat Dragon as well, so Vivi really wants to get that one down. Vivi taking more gold here on the front as well. I think this might be GG for Viper. I'm not sure there's anything you can actually do about it. All these Arbalests need to do is just start marching around the economy. Just put like 3 over here, 3 over here, 3 over here. And then it can just, again, put the squeeze on Viper instead of Vivi for once. And look at this villager count. It just drops so quickly. We've got 27 villagers, 25, 10 of those idle. What do you even do here? Viper, it's time to resign. Goes for Imperial Skirmisher, which would give him a chance versus the Arbalest, but it's just too late at this stage. And there's the GG from Viper. He knows he can't hold it. Omega Tech out as well, so even had a way to deal with the Imperial Skirmishers when they came out. Man, that was something interesting. That was really cool though. I really did enjoy that. So if you guys enjoyed it as well, leave a comment, like it, I don't know, do something fun with it, but I'll catch you in the next game. See you then.